Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I said hey. Welcome back to my channel.
Hey Jazz.
Hey y'all, I'm Jazmyn W. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I just want to say thank y'all so much for 18,000 subscribers on YouTube. I'm almost at 20K and I can't believe it. I just, love when I hear positive things about how much you guys enjoy my channel. I'm a comedian, so I started this channel so that I could stay sane and be funny during the pandemic. And now we're at 18,000 subscribers. So I appreciate everybody who actually subscribed. Okay. Thanks for coming back. Y'all know what we do on Fridays. It's Ready to Love with Nephew Tommy in the house.
You mean Uncle Tommy?
Nephew Gentleman's Lounge. The Gentleman's Lounge in the house. Today I actually thought that Nephew Tommy is like a white dude dressed up as a black dude imitating what he thinks a black dude acts like.
Okay, that's funny.
It's like, Nephew Tommy, okay, we get it. You're Uncle Tommy, Nephew Tommy. We get it. Oh my God. Do we have to do all of that?
No, we do not, but he chooses to.
Anyway, child. Today we started the episode off with Nephew Tommy and the guys in the Gentleman's Lounge, where Nephew Tommy said, "We gonna be in your feelings and we're gonna keep it real."
Oh my gosh.
That's what he said. And then he told a short story about his wife that didn't really seem relevant. And then we got into the dates. Okay, let's get into the dates. First, we started off with Aisha, and I wrote down Mouth. Aisha and Mouth. But I think the guy's name is, who is Mouth? Frank. His mouth is real prominent. That's why I call him Mouth. But anyway, Aisha has the blind weave in right now, and Mouth is the guy who has her on his own restaurant. Of course, I have pictures here for visuals. They played pool. And keep in mind the guys were supposed to get out of their comfort zone this episode. I don't know how any of them actually did that. Maybe. We'll go through it, but let's talk about the dates. Keeping in mind that they were supposed to get out of their comfort zone. So they went to play pool. I guess this was Frank's, out of Frank's comfort zone because he doesn't know how to play pool, and neither did Aisha. They didn't even really play. I think he got up behind her once.
Booty. That
we saw on camera. And then he began to have a conversation with her. He said, "You were first on my initial connection list," because, he had a really good connection with her. And he mentioned her being motherly because Aisha was married before and she has 2 kids from that marriage. They got in the photo booth and they were giggly and they said that they had a lot of sexual chemistry. It's just these really short dates. We actually don't get to see anything.
Nothing.
Have y'all noticed that? Like, we see you guys play pool, we see you guys giggling and say there's sexual chemistry, but we didn't really see anything on the date. So it's really hard for us to kind of determine whether these connections are real or genuine, or if they're just a moment. You know what I mean? It can look like you're having a connection with somebody in a moment. I mean, the paparazzi does it all the time when they see 2 people hanging out that are just hanging out having dinner. They make it seem like these people are having a moment, but it's just, you just caught a glimpse of nothing.
At all.
And that's how I'm feeling about the dates on this episode. But anyway, I guess there's a lot of dates we gotta get through. Next, we have Tyrone and Carrie. Carrie and Tyrone met to talk about how Tyrone doesn't like her. So this is how the conversation went.
Never do this.
Carrie said that she felt mishandled and she felt she could have been treated better.
Like a package.
Now, Carrie said on the last episode that Tyrone sort of dismissed her and she didn't like the way that he told her that he didn't like her. Tyrone said that on this episode that he made it seem like Carrie was being a little bit pushy. He said that she texted him at 12 p.m. and said, or I guess she texted him, throughout the day and he wasn't super responsive. Then she texted him question marks. And then at 12 p.m. she said, "Are you still interested?" And he was like, when he saw the text the next morning, he was like, "Damn, I don't want to wake up to this." And
I agree.
I think you guys had known each other for 48 hours or maybe a week. I don't know the timeline, but I think to be asking questions about are you still interested in wanting to know what we are so soon is a little bit much, Carrie.
Calm down.
Not saying that Tyrone told you in an appropriate way. I'm always really just thankful when somebody tells me that they're not interested in a relationship with me, whether it's romantic or friendship or business. Just tell me any kind of way. I really don't care, as long as you tell me. So that I can lose whatever interest I might have left, honey, I can drop it too.
Okay. On to the next.
But it sounded like she was coming on a little bit strong and he wasn't really that into her anyway. And the fact that she was pressing him for what are we or do we have a connection when he really wasn't that interested and it was so soon and there were all these other players, he was just like, okay, you can go.
Bye.
Yeah. He did say that Carrie was aggressive. And she asked him how she was aggressive and he said, well, I got your number and then I was talking to another person and got their number and I could see you at the corner of my eye, your body language. That's not what aggressive is, okay? Tyrone he's a veteran.
Right.
So I think you should have a better idea of what aggression is. Somebody being uncomfortable about the fact that you exchange numbers with somebody else in front of them is not aggressive. That's not what aggression is, Tyrone, okay? So yeah, that's not what that is. In fact, Carrie doesn't even strike me as an aggressive woman at all. She seems extremely feminine and easy to communicate with. And if you didn't like the fact that she was too thirsty,
forward,
then just say that.
Exactly.
He said there's no good time to say I like more people than I like you, which I agree with. And I wrote down Carrie wanted connection details too early. That was her issue. And then Tyrone doesn't resolve conflict well because he's not a good listener. And his perception of reality doesn't seem to be accurate.
Yeah, he don't be listening.
Or just at this moment. Let's move on to the skating date with Cornelius, Camille, Corey, and Courtney. Now, I'm tired of seeing Camille and Courtney on the same dates. Because we already know that Camille has she's jealous, insecure, attitude problem.
Ooh.
So, but I'm glad, Corey was able to take Courtney off so that Camille could focus on Cornelius is what she wanted to focus on. And I wrote down, here goes corny, creepy Corey.
Gross.
They were skating. We found out Corey is a Kappa. I said, I literally don't need to hear another word. Like, I am done with him. After hearing that fact and seeing him on the past few episodes.
He can shimmy right on out of here.
Corey said he's looking for a ride or die. He wants to be lovers for life. Corey, shut the hell up.
He lying.
Shut the hell up, Corey. Corey just says what he thinks people want to hear. And the fact that Courtney didn't peep that is really making me disappointed because I thought she was quick enough to be like, especially when he was like all up on her pelvis to pelvis. Oh, I just want to let you know that, so I can give you my undivided attention without slipping away. Corey is such a creep.
Ew.
There's nothing smooth about him. There's nothing romantic about him. He pulled these flowers from behind the stinky feet rack. And he said he lied in the gentleman's lounge and said he wrapped them in his own paper and threw them in a boat. You did not.
No, you didn't.
You didn't. You mean you picked out the wrapping? Because you didn't wrap those yourself. You're not a florist.
They look like grocery store flowers, so.
Child, I cannot deal with Corey. I never want to see him again. But I know he's going to be on at least two more episodes. He's not going to get eliminated next week. I'm just going to tell you that right now.
Facts.
Anyway, moving on to Cornelius and Camille. They were having a conversation. It sounds like they've been having a lot of conversations on FaceTime, and Cornelius is shirtless during some of those.
Okay.
Cornelius. You can't say Cornelius without saying Cornelius. Anyway, Camille asked Cornelius about finances. She had the nerve to ask Cornelius about finances when it sounds like she has 2 master's degrees at least, and maybe even one other degree that she didn't get out. Cornelius said he is completely debt-free.
Amen.
And Camille got really excited when she talked about, do I have debt? Oh, I have 2 master's degrees. So you have, if I were to guess, at least $60,000 worth of debt, at least. What makes that attractive about you?
I'll wait. Nothing.
Have you ever thought that maybe Cornelius doesn't want to be with somebody who's in $100,000 worth of student loan debt?
Oh, y'all gonna be real quiet in the comments.
Guess it never occurred to you. Because if Cornelius had $60,000 or $70,000 worth of student loan debt, would you be interested?
I'll wait.
Are the master's degrees enough? Listen, I want to take a pause. As a former recruiter and HR business partner, I worked in tech, where I worked with many white men who'd never had degrees and never went to college or never finished, okay? I want to let you guys know that you need to stop getting master's degrees for no reason.
Ooh.
I feel like black women get master's degrees, honey, like y'all popping Skittles. Listen, if it's not necessary, get experience in your field and stop getting all that student loan debt. It's a setup.
Unless it's free.
But that's a different conversation, okay? And I know there's gonna be people with like, I have 8 master's degrees and I make $100,000 a year. Okay, girl, we don't care, okay? Because that ain't enough to cover your debt.
Period.
Oh, if you went on scholarships and you never paid a dime or you have very little debt, good for you. Good for you. I'm proud of you.
Amen.
Anyway, let's move on to Walter and Mumin. They went to an what that thing called with the flowers?
Girl.
Y'all know what it is. Anyway, it looks like they went to a little, whatever. I'm about to say something wrong, like a conservatory or something, but y'all know what it is with the flowers, okay? Botanical garden or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Anyway, Mumin said that they have a diverse conversation, her and Walter. Walter said he's ready to have kids at 75 years old now.
Girl, stop.
And they both talked about how their dads weren't around. Walter talked about how he tried to make a connection with his father and his father just did not seem interested, and how he had to accept that and let it go. And I applaud Walter for that, because that is exactly it. At some point, you have to realize that it is not you.
Okay.
And Mumin talked about her and her dad weren't close. Then she proceeded to call Walter Daddy.
Girl.
Or Zaddy, one of the two. I thought that after that conversation, that was a little odd.
A little.
I actually don't understand why men like to be called daddy. Have I said it before? Sure, absolutely.
Sure.
But why men like to be called it, the older I get, the less I find it appropriate. Let me just say that. And especially after a conversation like this, But hey, some people...
Unless you got kids.
But hey, who am I to judge, I guess? I'm actually here to judge, but anyway.
Girl, not you being here to judge.
Anyway, he picked her up. I wrote down Paw picked her up, and he was able to carry her on his back. So that lets me know that Walter is still in pretty good shape at his age of 80. And of course, I'm kidding, you guys.
Somebody gonna be mad.
Yeah, he just seems a little bit older than her, but I guess she's 36, so she's not super young or anything, She just looks young.
Much younger than he looks.
Oh, am I?
Yeah, you tired.
Anyway, let's move on to the date between Shiloh, Dante, Carrie, and Phil. This was a workout date where
what?
Is it Phil? Oh yeah, Phil pulled Shiloh aside to have a little one-on-one time because he wanted to get to know her better.
Sexy Shiloh.
Shiloh and Phil talked about meditation and life partnership. Shiloh once again was talking about sex.
Of course.
She said,
sex is her go-to.
Shiloh said that she wants our cups to be full. I want to spoil my man.
Girl.
To where his cup is overflowing, and I want to be spoiled to where my cup is overflowing, and to where we're just both wet.
Slippery.
And there's just water and wetness everywhere and oil, and it's just slippery and nasty. Girl!
A monsoon, a tsunami, a hurricane.
Let me tell you. We said this last week. Leading with sex is something that Shiloh does. It's something that's going to make all the men fall for her. And then guess what? Is she going to be able to maintain a relationship? We don't know.
Yeah, if you as freaky as you say.
But I think whenever I hear a woman say, I want to spoil my man, It actually concerns me, actually. Because the reality is women can do the things that we do on a normal basis as far as just being considerate and caring for other people, and our men be spoiled.
Oh, say it.
So when I hear a woman say, I want to spoil my man.
What that mean?
It's giving thirst, actually.
Dehydration.
Yeah. And when I hear a man say, I want to spoil my woman, it's giving control.
Ooh.
So it's not a good thing either way. I think that if you are a type of person who just does things for other people and it's natural for you, it's not spoiling. It's just in your nature to be very considerate and thoughtful and caring about somebody else. And it's just the way, that you treat other people that you care about, And a lot of people don't say, oh, I consider it spoiling. You don't consider spoiling your child. You consider, just being able to provide for them.
Right.
Whether it's, emotional or the things that they want, financially or even physically, like, buying them things. You don't say, I'm spoiling my kid. You just say, I'm trying to make them happy.
Exactly. Much better way.
Anyway, let's move on with Dante and Carrie. Okay? Carrie was touching all on Dante like she was a physical therapist.
Girl.
She was touching Dante like she was his rehab coach.
Playmate.
And he needed to be touched because whatever the case. Y'all see what I'm saying? There was nothing romantic about it. She was tugging all on him, reaching for him.
Yeah.
And he just clearly was not into it. Carrie said that, or Dante said the conversation didn't flow between Carrie and I. Dante, that's because you didn't say a damn thing during the conversation.
Okay, you was quiet.
You didn't say nothing. That's why the conversation didn't flow. How the conversation gonna flow when she the only one with the faucet on?
Okay, and your faucet was shut off.
Child. So there was an overflow between Shiloh and Phil, and a drought between Dante and Carrie. Anyway, let's move on to Naeem. And I don't know the chocolate sister's name, but I'm going to put her picture down here. She's actually my favorite woman on the show.
She is.
And Naeem might be my favorite guy as well. Anyway.
For now.
They had a little cocktail session where Naeem was taught how to fix her a cocktail, his date. And he was looking at her like he was very interested. Like, I love the way that Naeem was looking at his date.
Okay.
When I was dating back in the day, I like when somebody really showed interest in me by how much they paid attention to me, especially when I'm talking. Can you tell? Anyway.
Yeah, we can.
So I love the fact that he was just so into her. And really just paying attention, and he couldn't keep his eyes off of her. I thought that was very romantic.
Ooh.
I love the fact that she asked him, if your friends could say or describe you or say something about you, what would they say? I think that's a really great question to ask on a date, because it asks about your friends and what they think about you. It might turn into a funny story. It's much more interesting than asking about past relationships.
Take notes.
I felt sis when she said anything I want I get, I spoil myself.
Me too.
Because I love that about what she said, because she was like, I don't set the expectation for anybody to spoil me, anybody else. I spoil myself, and anything I want I get, baby. Let's go manifestation. And I also felt her when she said, it's not hard to make me smile, but when I stop smiling or when my smile is gone, whew,
good luck.
That is exactly how I feel. I'm genuinely a positive person, happy person. It's not easy to make me, or it's not, difficult to make me smile or laugh. But when my smile is gone, honey.
Ooh, you in for it.
Good luck. Good luck.
Because I'm gone too, probably.
Let's move on to Mouth and Tasia. Mouth and Tasia went on a date, which is Frank.
Not Mouth.
Frank made Tasia a fresh cocktail. And I wrote down, Tasia don't like Frank. But then again, who does Tasia like? I haven't seen her like anybody on the show. I wrote down, Frank was sweating. He was sweating. His armpits was wet.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, you can't really blame him, I guess. But, you got to do something about it. I don't know if you got to wear an undershirt or, you need to wear women's deodorant.
Girl.
I don't know what it is, but baby, That's personally for me, that's a turnoff. When I see a guy who has sweat rings, like, do you have sweat rings right now?
Girl.
Oh, no, I don't. Anyway, when I see a guy who has like sweat rings all the way down here and we're on a date, I'm like, oh my God. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, I'm goofy. Anyway,
you too much.
I wrote down, calm down, Tasia. And I think I wrote that down in regards to her attitude towards her business. Oh, I climbed the corporate ladder very quickly. I was 22 and it's not about what you say, Tasia, it's how you say it. And I think, I've had a problem with Tasia's communication ever since the beginning of the season, ever since I saw her. And I think she just has very low emotional intelligence. Ooh. Which it's difficult for her to read the room. It's difficult for her to read other people's expressions and emotions. It doesn't surprise me that she worked in tech because a lot of times that is the issue with people. The emotional intelligence, EQ, is just not there. And they're both business owners, so you think that they could have a lot to talk about there when it comes to just having that in common. But
right.
I don't think Frank was very interested because he didn't like Tasia's personality. And I don't think Tasia liked anybody's personality but her own.
Yeah, she hasn't shown interest.
Oops. Anyway, we got back to the TGL, the Gentleman's Lounge.
Girl.
And the guys talked about who they liked the most, who their top women were. So Corey said Newman and Courtney. Tyrone said Shiloh and Sabrina.
Okay.
Even though Shiloh is his number one. Cornelia said Camille and Courtney. Walter said Newman. And Naeem said Zadia, which is the chocolate skin woman that he went on a date with. She's gorgeous.
Zadia.
And then the other guys didn't get to say. They went on into the complaints of the women they didn't like. So the bottom two women this week were Tasia and Carrie. Cornelius met with Tasia. And I wrote down, Tasia is not eager enough and Carrie was too eager.
Ooh.
Those are the two ends of the spectrum for me this week. Cornelius's feedback for Tasia was that she still has walls up, and she does. But she's still ready to love. And Tasia's feedback was, I don't know what to do. I've given these men layups and opportunities. When have you ever given someone an open door to get to know you without judgment and without attitude?
Or interrogation.
I don't think she has. And then Naeem met with Carrie. You know what I was really impressed by? How caring and how gentle Naeem was during this conversation. He really handled himself well. And I think Carrie has a great personality. I don't think she is somebody who would trip or flip out on the show like we've seen in the past. But Naeem just handled it very, very well. So Naeem asked Carrie if she felt good about the connections that she made. And Carrie said, yeah, she did. And I said, what connections?
Please, where were they?
You ain't connected with nobody at all. And I don't think she has. Like, I'm like, is she watching it? Like, are we missing something?
Maybe we are.
And Naeem said, ultimately, you're not ready to love because the guys, felt that they made stronger connections with some of the other women than they made with you, which I think is a great explanation. And I wrote down, Naeem was a gentleman and Camille was classy.
Yes.
So that was the episode this week. There was a lot going on, a whole lot of nothing, to be honest, in my opinion. When I think about the guys who are gonna go home next week, I think I don't know if Frank is in anybody's top.
Is he?
And then I don't know if Phil is either. I think, the guys we saw this week, Corey, Tyrone, Cornelius, Walter, and Naeem are going to stay. But there are a couple of guys, I think there's one guy we didn't even hear from this week. I don't know. But, Frank and Phil might be on the chopping block. Unfortunately, I wish Corey would go home, but he won't. So yeah, I guess that's the end of my review. It kind of feels unfinished though, doesn't it? But so does this episode. Anyway, I guess I will see y'all really soon with an update on The Bachelor. And then, of course, next week with the same videos I do every week. I really appreciate y'all for watching. Have a good weekend.
Bye.